Hello, my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about data privacy and Wi Fi sensing. So, researchers in Rome developed a capability where they can use Wi Fi signals to identify people basically through Wi Fi waves or wavelengths. This is very interesting study that they're doing and a very interesting use of technology. Some of the use cases that they were thinking about is that people can be re-identified based on how these Wi-Fi waves bounce off their bodies, and they also thought of it as a way to track people without actually observing them. So, as opposed to something like facial recognition, where it needs to take a picture of your face, or a voice, where it needs to take a sample of your voice, depending on how your body moves through a space over time, this particular technology can identify a person. They're thinking of it in some ways as like a privacy preserving way to identify people so that they're not quote unquote necessarily collecting their personal information, although it can or has the capability of uniquely identifying someone, especially over time. Some of the use cases that they came up with is like smart homes, smart offices, maybe even situations where, let's say, a company has a restricted area and only certain people are supposed to be there. Maybe there's a certain Wi Fi signature or identity that they can track for that person. Also, I guess one of the challenges here is how personally identifiable someone can be. Obviously, this type of technology has to read the signature of a person and over time be able to find out if this person is similar to maybe a earlier read. So, in that way, I think is more privacy preserving as opposed to anyone who is in any vicinity of this technology being captured or identified automatically. So this is actually a technology that I talked about many years ago, and so it's around being able to track or identify people in some ways without visually observing them and without cameras or other types of recording. So this is definitely a new frontier in how technology can be used. And obviously, I'm always concerned how that data is going to be used in the future. So if it is just used to maybe sense whether someone should be in a particular area or not, or whether some other type of security thing that someone is using, I think that's fine. I think the challenge with these technologies always is how much data is being collected about someone and then what that data use may be downstream. So it remains to be seen what we see people do with these types of technologies. We're seeing a little bit of this in especially in smart cities with technologies doing things like fall detection and things like that. But and then also there are some security systems that are trying to use these types of things where you, for example, let's say you wouldn't want a security camera in certain spaces in your house, but maybe if you had something that did this type of like remote sensing or Wi-Fi sensing, it can let you know whether someone should or shouldn't be in particular areas within a home or within an office. So this is definitely interesting. I'll keep my eye on it, especially to see what companies do with these types of technologies. I think it could be very powerful, especially where people are very sensitive about the capture of their face or the capture of their voice. And so having something that can create some type of security without collecting more data, but also this data is more data, but data in a different way. So we'll see what people think about it, especially as more companies try to adopt these types of technologies, how it will interplay with privacy laws and regulations, and how people will adopt these types of technologies. That's it. Thank you.